great first game back. You happy with that?
Yeah, happy to get that first game out of the way. Again, it's quite early for a game, but it made it perfect to go against the 23s, mainly for two reasons. Us to do sort of a more controlled game as that first game being so early, and two, for the 23s to see who's going to be with us next season, because they was a vital part last year in our squad, and they will be again this year.
Most of the squad's been retained, and obviously Lowe's out there today. There was no Frankie Morgan, is that?
Yeah, Frankie's still away. That's what Richie and Ben sort of filled in at left back. We've got Mams as well potentially coming back, so that is the left side, the left back. So we got all areas covered. It's hard to do two teams to some extent, but we've got some lads trialists that we're looking at. We haven't made loads of signings. Potentially we secured a lot of the lads from last year that done fantastic for us back end of last season, and then there's a couple away. So potentially a few of them lads will be signed, but it's just early doors at the minute.
I suppose that was always your target, though, wasn't it, to retain the lads that done really well for you last year? Yeah,
and it's not always in your control either. There's only so much you can do, and I've always said it, and Matt says it as well. We've got a healthy budget here, but we do get outpriced by some people, and it happens at all levels, even from some of the clubs below, which we know about. But there's only so much we can do. It's realistic budget we have, realistic figures that are offered to players. And if they want to go other places, they're going to do it. But you know, the idea was to retain the majority of the squad, and I think we've probably done about 80% of that anyway. So.
Looking at pre-season, obviously you've got some attractive games there. We're going to Maidstone next week. We've got Gills. We've got Margate added to the schedule now as well. So there's a few games that are going to test us, isn't there?
Yeah, they'll be tough games. Ideally, I didn't want loads of games on 3G, some on grass. We ended up Lordswood, ended up reversed back to here, but it is what it is. We try and mix it up. Again, it's not always in your control pre-season, and we've tried to redo sort of the back end of pre-season, but with the Scaffold League starting so early, you're playing teams your level and above. So again, it's a good test. If you're playing teams too low, it's not a realistic test close to the season. So we've got to buy in that FA Cup, so Margate will be on the 5th. Again, another tough game.
Two of the strikers that scored today, Alex Willis, Dan Bradshaw. So obviously Dan's come in as a new re-signing, his third spell at the club, took his goal well. But Alex, who we probably didn't see a lot of last season because, you know, he come in, he had to get his fitness, etc. Was you impressed with what you see today?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Alex in training, and I've obviously seen stuff of him previously when he was younger at Charlton. From the fans' point of view, they've not seen a lot of him, and that's probably the most they've seen of him. But you know, he's a natural goal scorer. He's in around the box. He's good on both feet, and he's always there. There's a shot. We had Oscar in as well. He's a similar player. We'll see a bit more of him over the next coming weeks, and obviously Dan Bradshaw. You know, he's again a natural goal scorer. So we've got good options up front, as well as an old boy like me. But we've got good options. We'll rotate it where we can in pre-season and try and find that balance. But I think it's getting them honest, hard-working players that is what we want going forward.
Some of the spectators today might be asking why Finley's out there, because he's obviously going to America. Yeah. But that's you helping him, isn't it?
Yeah, we spoke to another goalie as well. Obviously you've got young Alfie, who's potentially going to be with us as well, and you've got Joe out there as well. Finn asked to do pre-season, as did Luke Frost as well, but he's got a job abroad. Frosty will be coming in probably the back end of pre-season. He'll help us along our way. Happy to help Finn, but pre-season it gives Aid a chance to rest and not play 90 minutes every game. Try and build up that fitness and sharpness. Even as a goalie, they need that break. We'll manage it wherever we can, but Finn's a good player.
Obviously, last week, Hazard Gray was confirmed as the 23s manager. Yeah. Someone you know quite well?
Yeah, I've always through youth football as well. Obviously, he wants to go into that men's football, and he's got the attributes to do that. So, yeah, there's been a slight change in the 23s, but things happen. Whether people go or can't commit or can commit, it happens. But more than happy with Hazard to take that role on. I do speak to him a lot, so we do want that close link to the first team. As I said, the 23s were vital in our squad last year, sort of Christmas period. and they will be again this year. They've got some good players in there. Although they'll be slightly different than last year, they're still potentially to go and win their league like they did last year. Although I was disappointed with the goals we conceded today, from the likes of sort of Kenzie that I know quite well, Jack Marsh and Laddie took their goals really well, and that was the idea of this match, to see if them lads from there, if they can come and be with us. So, from that show in there, there's definitely a few that will be training with us and potentially in our squad.
Is the relationship with Jill still there if you need to call upon it next season?
Yeah, he's still there, and I think we might not be lucky enough to have a Sam Gow come back in. I think they'll push him on a bit higher, which, fair play to him, he needs to be pushing for that pro level. I've spoke to Brian and Mark at Gillingham. We have got that link. I don't think they'll be sending them out on loan till sort of November, December time, but we'll plan with our squad, and if we can have reinforcements with a few of them lads, we'll give them first team football, and they helped us like Sam, Alex and Matty did last year. So we've got another couple of links, but for example, lads on trial here, they'll be the priority because we know they can commit, but we'll be in no rush to sign loads of people. Centre back positions we're short of at the minute. I've spoke to a few, one's injured, one's away. We will have that nailed down, but I don't want to be rushing to a decision and sort of paying over the odds for people that can demand that money at other places. We have a realistic budget and we know that money will be there for the rest of the season, so that's football and that's how we're going to manage it.
Brilliant, thanks Jack.
Thank you.